Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a really unique and powerful deep dive. It's into some very personal, very reflective source material. We're looking at Man in the Making by EGR topic. And our mission really is to unpack the raw honesty here, the universal themes of growth, struggle, authenticity. It's all laid bare in this song.
It really is. And what's fascinating, I think, is how immediately you feel pulled into this really intimate conversation. It reveals these struggles that, let's be honest, many of us face, but maybe don't quite articulate like this. It gives us this powerful lens, to explore self-awareness and that whole journey of personal transformation.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. Let's unpack this. The very first lines, they hit you, don't they? I want to talk more, but I don't like to talk. Some of my longest conversations are inside my thoughts. And then this image, this wall made out of stone.
Right.
What does that suggest about the nature of this internal struggle?
Yeah.
That there's this deep conversation happening, but it's just locked away.
Well, that wall, it feels like more than just, being shy. It seems like a really deeply ingrained coping mechanism, maybe.
Okay.
It definitely highlights how often our most significant dialogues, our real processing, happens internally, unshared. And that can lead to a kind of self-imposed isolation, right? It really speaks to a profound challenge in translating that rich inner world into, actual external communication.
And given that struggle inside, the song then pretty quickly digs into where it might come from. It mentions growing up in two different homes.
Yeah.
Where one got mad they wouldn't talk, the other would just start to yell.
Right.
How do those early experiences, those really contrasting ways of handling conflict, how do they shape someone, especially their ability to express themselves later on?
Oh, fundamentally. That dynamic, silence versus yelling, withdrawal versus escalation, it's incredible foundational.
Yeah, I can see that.
It shows how those early relational patterns just get absorbed. They impact our attachment styles, our conflict skills, way into adulthood. So it becomes really clear how that anger anchored in me could develop.
Right.
And why he might have that feeling of tripping when I walk away in his current interactions, because the sort of wiring for healthy conflict just wasn't fully set up.
So as we see these internal conflicts taking shape, the piece then kind of broadens out. It reveals how this struggle for authenticity impacts his integrity maybe on a larger scale. He says things like, I don't mean it when I act like I'm not listening, or telling the kids we're fine after we just fought.
Yeah.
What's really going on, do you think, beneath that surface stuff?
Yeah.
That reassurance. And how common is that gap between what we do and what we actually intend or feel?
Oh, it's incredibly common. I mean, that's just the human struggle, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wanting to be one way, wanting to connect, but acting out these learned patterns, often, unconsciously.
Right, without even realizing it sometimes.
Exactly. And those moments of inauthenticity, even if they feel like they're smoothing things over in the moment, they create that distance in between us, as he puts it. These layers build up, separating what we project from what we truly feel inside.
And that it extends even further into this really powerful paradox. He says, I preach the word across the states, feel good and cross it out. But oftentimes I'm too caught up to preach the word across my house.
Wow.
Or that line, I'm out there calling out your sin and I can't see my own. What's so poignant about that contrast between the public role and the private reality?
All the starkness of it, it just speaks volumes, doesn't it?
It really does.
It brings up this critical question about, what's the real impact of your message if you're not living it out in your most immediate circle, in your home?
Right, if it's not real there.
Exactly. It highlights that internal friction, that disconnect between the public persona and the private self. It makes that line, how I'm going to tell you to remain and I ain't been remaining, feel incredibly vulnerable, but also really self-aware.
And this seems to lead directly into this clear, longing for personal change, especially within his family. He admits, I love my wife so much I'm trying to be a better hat, but what's the point of trying to be a spouse and not a better dad? And wrestling with blending a family, too.
Yeah, the pressures there, they're immense, aren't they, in those family roles?
Definitely.
And it's not just about being a good spouse or a good parent in isolation. It's about the unique challenges of trying to create real connection in a blended family, especially, it seems, when your own history, like he mentions with his stepdad, is complicated.
Right.
And what happens when that desire's there, to speak life to them instead of death, but you feel like the demonstration is lacking. That's where the pain really comes in, I think.
Right.
Wanting to nurture, wanting to inspire, but feeling like your actions are somehow betraying your intentions. The demonstration isn't backing up the hope.
So this desire for change, it really builds and it culminates in this like desperate plea. I'm crying out to God like, Lord, please help me be a different man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do I need deliverance or do I just need discipline? And it leads to this breaking point, he says, at the altar.
Yeah.
What's happening in that moment, that intense self-questioning, wrestling with whether the answer is like spiritual intervention or just sheer practical effort.
That moment really captures the intensity of self-reflection when you're truly facing your own failings.
It feels raw.
It is. It's a deep dive into that core human question, isn't it? How much is my own effort, my agency versus needing something bigger, external or spiritual help? It's that desperate search for answers when you feel trapped by old patterns. Wondering, is this a battle I just fight with discipline? Or does something deeper, something external need to shift inside me? It's a crossroads. A very relatable one, I think, for anyone on a serious path of growth.
And this whole journey, this core idea, it's captured perfectly in that recurring line, isn't it? I'm a man in the making.
Absolutely. It's central.
What's the power in that? In embracing this idea that it's an ongoing journey, not some, finished, perfect product. He even says, Lord, you are the author of my story. I'm just living at these pages.
That phrase, a man in the making, it's just incredibly powerful because it directly challenges that relentless pressure, that pursuit of perfection we often feel.
Yeah, which is exhausting.
Totally exhausting. Instead, it champions continuous self-improvement and courage, really, and imperfection. It's about accepting, okay, I'm not the old me, but also recognizing that becoming a better one is a process. It's ongoing. It's not a destination you just arrive at.
Right.
And that realization that you're just living at these pages, it means kind of letting go of controlling the whole narrative, right? Embracing the unpredictable journey itself.
So this journey, then, it means not giving up. Even that is cloudiest, as he says.
Right, pushing through.
And it comes with this really powerful shift in priorities. It's better to succeed in front of family than an audience.
That's a key line.
How does that shift in values? How does that reflect a deeper understanding of what, truly matters in life and growth?
Well, that pivot, moving from external validation, the audience, to the internal circle, the family, it signifies a really profound shift.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing where true impact happens, where genuine connection is actually found, the strength you need, that resilience he talked about, knowing we got what we need for life and godliness, and that belief that with help, you can do the things you've never done. That's not really about public applause, is it?
No, not at all.
It's about finding purpose and finding transformation in the most meaningful parts of your life, even when it's hard, even when it's cloudiest.
So thinking about all this,
Yeah.
what does it mean for you, listening right now, this incredibly personal account of a man in the making? It really prompts us to look inward, doesn't it, at our own journeys?
Absolutely. It invites us, I think, to reflect on our own internal conflicts. What are they? And the lessons, maybe the hard ones that we carry from our past. And that continuous work, that effort to align our actions with our intentions, to close that gap we talked about. So maybe the question becomes, in what ways are you still in the making? And how might embracing that idea, that continuous process, actually allow you to approach your own challenges with, maybe more hope, more resilience, even when life feels anything but easy?